Good afternoon. It's time for Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Today we'll join Volusia Here and Now reporter Joanne Magley for a story on the technology behind fighting fires. Then it's over to health reporter Stephanie Strong for a report from the Volusia County Health Department about health screenings for newborns. And finally, we'll join Community Information Director Dave Byron in the studio for a chat with his guest, Lisa Hamilton, the Executive Director of the Volusia-Flagler Coalition for the Homeless. Those segments, news, and more coming up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. Score one for economic development in Volusia County. Teledyne Oil and Gas has announced it will construct a global research and development center in Daytona Beach. The decision by its parent company, California-based Teledyne Technologies, to consolidate its research and development operations in Daytona Beach was made in part because Teledyne Oil and Gas already has its headquarters and manufacturing and engineering facilities right here. Teledyne Oil and Gas, a business unit of Teledyne Instruments Incorporated, is the leading supplier of fiber optic, electric, and high-power interconnect technology for the subsea oil and gas defense and commercial markets, and a global provider of products and services. Officials from Volusia County's Economic Development Division worked more than a year along with local business and community leaders to persuade Teledyne to pick Daytona Beach as its consolidation site.
Well, we're very fortunate to have this. We competed against the state of New Hampshire to have it here. We were very fortunate that the city, the county, and the state got together in order to provide some incentives. They're performance-based. They have to produce the jobs, but the building will be here, and we think that's what made the difference. Absolutely. Partnerships are what are all key to economic development. We all work together not only to bring new companies here, but to keep the ones we have. Obviously, we wouldn't have lost Teledyne Oil and Gas Ocean Design Division here, but we might not have gotten this facility, and we are just tickled that it's here.
The location also will incorporate the administrative offices of Teledyne Oil and Gas headquarters. The new center is expected to create 100 new jobs over 3 years and an initial capital investment of more than $4 million. Construction is expected to take about a year to complete. The Volusia County Council is anxiously awaiting the results of a major study on the efficiency of tourism marketing efforts county-wide. While the complete study won't be finished until midsummer, the County Council recently received an update on the study's progress by Strategic Marketing Group, the Atlanta-based firm the County Council has commissioned for the analysis. The progress report is available online at volusia.org. The study will be used to gauge the effectiveness of Volusia's tourism marketing efforts and their relationship to generating conventions at the expanded Ocean Center. The progress report shows that in many areas there is a need for improved accountability, such as how marketing is measured and by using research to drive the marketing initiatives. The preliminary report is expected by early July, and once again you can view that online at volusia.org. It's not too early to think about summer activities for the kids. Volusia County offers a variety of summer camps for children. From environmental to clown camps to activities in the county's libraries, there's something for everyone. Children ages 6 through 15 can enjoy 8 fun-filled weeks of supervised playground activities, sports, crafts, and field trips with Volusia County's summer recreation program. Camps will be from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Monday through Friday from June 11th through August 3rd at 16 sites throughout the county. Special needs camps will be available at Orange City and Edgewater Elementary Schools. The county also offers specialty camps at the Lyonie Environmental Center and the Marine Science Center. Nancy Maddox of the county's Parks, Recreation, and Culture Division said the county provides supervised activities for children to keep them busy and safe during the summer.
Well, every year we really strive to do a lot of different things so that the kids don't get bored when they have stay-back days. We have 2 different programs in our division. We have the Lyonie Environmental Center, which has some real exciting environmental type program summer camps, and so you learn about our local environment And then the other one is our summer recreation, which we've done for many, many years, where we have 16 sites around the county, and Monday through Friday they go and do different things. They have a day and a half each week where they go out to different places around the county.
Children ages 7 through 12 can experience the wonders of scrub habitat through guided hikes, field studies, and games at Lyonia Environmental Center in Deltona. The summer camps will be offered Monday through Friday, the weeks of July 11th and 18th. Participants will learn about the plants and animals that live in Lyonia Preserve through classroom and field activities. They also will design a t-shirt, create crafts, and learn how they can help to protect the environment. The Marine Science Center will offer another exciting summer of exploration and adventure.
All right, well, here at the Marine Science Center, we have 10 weeks of educational activities for our summer camp programs. The children will get to do various different activities here at summer camp, and those will include learning the ins and outs of the Marine Science Center and our rehabilitation here, and how we take care of all the animals, along with getting to go out and canoeing, seine netting, snorkeling, fishing, and some of the camps even include a trip to SeaWorld, Juniper Springs, and Silver Springs. So you can actually find out more of the information by going onto the website, marinesciencecenter.com.
The Science Center's camps are offered from June 11th through August 17th for children ages 6 through 16. Children can clown around at the Port Orange and New Smyrna Beach libraries during 2 clown camps presented by Bubbles, a professional clown. For more information about Volusia County's summer camps, you can visit volusia.org/news.
I'm Joshua Wagner with the Volusia County Council. Sea turtles are among the county's natural wonders. These amazing creatures emerge from the surf at night to lay their eggs in the sand, then return to sea. 2 months later, nearly 100 hatchlings emerge and crawl to the ocean. During sea turtle nesting season, which runs from May 1st through October 31st, lighting from beachfront property is restricted. Nets are marked clearly and should not be disturbed. Help us protect our sea turtles. For more information, please visit volusiaseaturtles.org.
It's been an active wildfire season in Volusia County with several wildfires so far this year. But firefighters have a lot of technology on their side when it comes to battling the flames. Reporter Joanne Magley has more in this week's Volusia Here and Now.
Mitigation 10, brush attack 23.
Go ahead.
LT, I'm going to need you to stay out there and assist land management with that fire.
No matter which side of the county you live on or have visited, you've probably smelled smoke from a wildfire at some point in the last several months.
Looks like it's way off the end, probably close to I-4.
Copy that. Benell 56 is already in the area. If you can tag up with him and see if we can get into it.
From January through April, the county has only received 5 inches of rain. The normal rainfall total for this time is about 12 inches, and Volusia County Fire Services have battled nearly 200 wildfires. Battalion Commander John Pasquale manages wildfire mitigation for Volusia County Fire Services.
We basically coordinate day to day how many fires are active, what units we need to put on them, what our battalion commanders need to be looking for, if we need to send any internal units, station crews out, or if we need to hire anybody, outside and put extra units on to handle anything that's active for the day.
When firefighters from Volusia County head out on a wildfire, they're not just armed with hoses, they've got technology on their side.
Google Earth, we get it where we can physically see it. Doesn't give us an address in that, but we can actually physically see it on the most recent updated maps. County GIS mapping, yes, we can go through the property appraiser's office, overlay a shapefile, and we'll know exactly how many homes are in danger, which way a head fire may be moving, areas we may have to evacuate or prep, do site prep prior to a fire reaching that area.
Division chiefs like Scott Smoke rely on weather applications that show the exact number and location of lightning strikes. On this particular day, it was more than 170 strikes.
Well, information is, grown leaps and bounds on weather, with temperatures, humidities, fuel moistures and everything like that that we can use. It'll actually allow us to know. It's not a perfect science, but it gives us better understanding of what kind of fire behavior we should expect in a day.
And when it comes to communications, technology upgrades with the 800 megahertz radio system has allowed units from different departments to talk to each other, resulting in faster deployment and attack of the fire.
800 systems and VH systems have all been upgraded on our radios to allow us better communications between personnel apparatus on scene, outside agencies, cooperators, whether it be internal or external, land management for one, or like Miami Corp. It allows us direct contact with them over the radio and stuff, so we're able to put units on the ground faster and get them into an area quicker than we were in the past.
Battalion Commander Pasquale says GPS technology allows him to draw lines around a fire and then quickly share that information.
GPS, whether it comes from the GPS unit that's in my truck or one of the other battalion commanders that may be on the fire scene, they can actually wrap the fire, which means go around the fire with it, track it. We can take that, transfer it up on the Google Earth, lay actually what they call a shape file out, and then we can send it via email or whatever out to the chiefs and that, so they know where the fire's at, and get a shape file, a borderline of the fire, and be able to see what we have to deal with, whether it's structures or vegetation. We can look at it that way. Through county GIS, we can overlay it on their maps and find vegetation issues, running in the swamps and stuff like that.
For Volusia Here and Now, I'm Joanne Magley.
Hundreds of thousands of new babies are born in Florida each year, but what many Floridians don't realize is that each one of those babies receives special testing within their first 48 hours of life called newborn screening. Those screenings are all done by the Florida Department of Health's laboratory in Jacksonville. Stephanie Strong takes us on a road trip up to the state lab to show you what services they offer to protect your health.
Hello, I'm Dean Willis, Director of the Jacksonville Public Health Laboratory of the Florida Bureau of Laboratories. This laboratory is a full-service laboratory providing testing in all areas.
The state lab is on the front line in protecting public health. The lab receives from 8,000 to 10,000 specimens daily. A wide variety of testing happens here from A to Z. Services are provided to all county health departments around the state.
We screen patients for tuberculosis. We have one of the premier TB laboratories in the nation. We provide screening for all of the sexually transmitted infections, viral infections, those transmitted by mosquitoes, everything from malaria to West Nile. We do testing for food poisoning, for salmonella and shigella, as well as the problems that may occur with hot tubs with Legionnaires and so forth. We're involved with whooping cough, testing for that.
Hundreds of thousands of new babies are born in Florida each year. But what many Floridians do not realize is that each one of those babies receives special testing within their first 48 hours of life, called newborn screening. In 2009, more than 220,000 newborns were screened by the Florida Department of Health's laboratory, and 380 of those newborns had some abnormality detected.
When you see a playground full of healthy children, that's due to the immunizations and disease control that we're involved in.
There are a wide range of services offered at the state lab, including environmental chemistry, which involves testing samples of drinking water, food, soil, and air for pesticides, and test analysis is done here for other contaminants in drinking water. Health departments from all 67 counties collect water samples and ship them to the state lab, where testing is done for such pesticides as dieldrin, a banned contaminant. The Bureau of Laboratories is recognized by the National Environmental Laboratories Accreditation Program and the Environmental Protection Agency.
The Florida Public Health Laboratory has a rich history here in the state. It was authorized by the legislature and opened its doors in 1903 here in Jacksonville, and has had a presence here in Jacksonville since that time. And here on the wall is photographs of our previous lab directors.
The Florida Department of Health Bureau of Laboratories, contributing to a healthier Florida, one test at a time. For more information about the services offered by the State Bureau of Laboratories, please visit www.doh.state.fl.us. For Volusia Magazine and on behalf of the Volusia County Health Department, your guide to better health, I'm Public Information Officer Stephanie Strong.
If you have any questions about this or any other health-related issues, you can always log on to volusiahealth.com. And now let's step into the studio to join Community Information Director Dave Byron with his guest, Lisa Hamilton, the Executive Director of the Volusia-Flagler Coalition for the Homeless.
Well, thank you, Amber, and hello, everyone. If you sense there are more homeless people on our streets these days, your instincts are probably correct. The number of homeless people in our area is on the rise, and as you might expect, the current economic conditions are a factor. Today we'll find out how homeless service providers are trying to meet this demand, and we'll discuss what services are available in our community to serve the needs of our homeless population. We're very pleased to have with us in the studio today Lisa Hamilton. She's the Executive Director of the Volusia-Flagler Coalition for the Homeless. Lisa, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dave. It's a pleasure to be here.
Very important topic, one that affects communities all across the United States, not just here in Volusia County and in Florida. Let's start with kind of a basic definition of homelessness, because I think some of us have different beliefs and we think of it differently. So what is a homeless person?
Right. Many people think of homelessness as an individual man or woman that they might see living on the street, but the definition of homelessness is much broader than that. You're homeless if you are living in a homeless shelter or homeless housing, or if you're living in a place that's unfit for human habitation.
Right.
So that would include sleeping on the street, in a tent, in the woods, in your car. The federal definition in the last year has been expanded to include people who are living in trailer parks or campgrounds for extended periods of time due to economic hardship. Yes.
As the Executive Director of the big homeless agency in our two-county area, when someone says to you, how many homeless people are there, how do you answer that?
Each year, well, we count the homeless in a couple of ways. Each year, every community in the United States who receives funding for homeless housing does a point-in-time count. During the last 10 days of January, we count for 24 hours, and we have teams of volunteers who go out and count high and low. We work with law enforcement, faith-based organizations, and this year we conducted the count on January the 25th. We counted 2,276 individuals. Now that includes all of the folks living in our emergency shelters and transitional housing, as well as people who were outdoors with no place to sleep, no place to go. Outdoors in cars. That also includes people who may be in a motel, but they're on their last night. They don't have anywhere to go the next night. We're allowed to count those folks as well. And we go to all meal sites. We go to churches. Churches open their doors to bring people in, and we actually do surveys. So we find out why they're homeless, what needs they're looking for. We do a real thorough needs assessment at that time.
Well, homeless people don't walk around with a sign on them that says I'm homeless.
Right.
So I think you said something like 2,200. How accurate do you believe that number is?
That is an undercount.
Yeah.
We know that those are the people that we made contact with on that day, one day out of the year. Now, in addition to that, as you mentioned, we know that there are currently over 2,000 children registered as homeless in the Volusia County school system.
Wow.
That represents many families.
Right.
We know that there are families who are living in their homes without water. Maybe they have utilities, but they're not able to keep the water on. We know from law enforcement that there is an increase in the trend of squatters. So they're getting new reports of families that are coming and staying in homes at night and leaving early in the morning, and they don't actually own the house any longer, or they're not renting it. They're squatting there for protection. And they're continuing to work. The kids are continuing to go to school. They're living out of their trunks essentially to save up money to get into apartments. That's the major increase that we've seen in the last few years as a result of the economy.
Well, let's talk about the increase. You said 2,200 that you actually counted. Is that number on the rise?
Yes. We've counted about a 10% increase every year for the last 7 years.
Wow.
So especially in the last 3 years,
right.
the number of families has dramatically increased as the foreclosure crisis really hit and came to fruition. And then unemployment means people can't afford apartments. They can't afford the rent any longer.
Right. You might have seen within the last few months, 60 Minutes did a profile on homelessness in America, and they used Seminole County, I believe, as the backdrop for that national report, and they sort of cited Central Florida and Florida in general as kind of, one of the states where the homeless problem is, I guess, among the more
It's
pronounced.
The highest, it is.
Yeah. What's the reason for that? The weather?
Nationally, Florida ranks 3rd in the number of homeless in the state. And we rank 2nd nationally for the number of chronic homeless in the state.
Right.
And chronic homeless are folks who've been homeless for a year or who have had 3 or more episodes of homelessness in a 4-year period. So people really moving in and out of stability, very unstably housed individuals.
Why do you think Florida, the homeless problem is so pronounced here? I mean, what are the factors that contribute to that?
Well, if you look, the top 5 states have large coastlines. California is number 1, Texas number 2, we're number 3, and then for chronic homeless, we're number 2 below California.
Right.
And I think that it does have to do with the fact that we have good weather and that people can survive living outside a good deal of the time.
Right.
That's one reason. Another reason I think is that our states don't put as much into this kind of social services support as others do.
You know, I want to touch again on the number of kids in the school system. We talked about this last year when we did our interview, and it just seems like a huge number to me when you're talking about at least 2,000 kids in our school system that are classified as homeless. That seems just incredible.
It's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. And from what we've heard, I know you know, it seems like the school system does a pretty darn good job of trying to manage what probably is a pretty difficult group of students.
Yes, I think that Volusia County Schools, and to my knowledge, does an outstanding job, and it's all of the schools. It's the local staff and the administration, the teachers in the school system, as well as the county-wide administration.
Right.
And of course, we have each school system in the country now has a homeless liaison.
Right.
So every school system in America has enough homeless children that the federal government funds an individual person to work with the school administrators and the guidance counselors to identify those kids and help keep them stable. So the whole bent of the work is to provide stability for kids. We actually spend about $500,000 a year in this county to transport children whose families may have moved to another place. They're living somewhere temporarily with family, with friends, in an apartment here, in an apartment in another location, following work. The school system ensures that child doesn't move to many different schools and disrupt his or her education.
Sure.
They ensure that they have that stability and that they've got a school family, if you will, looking out for them, and it has a tremendous impact in so many ways.
I would have to think. I mean, just the trauma of being homeless, particularly for a kid. I mean, I think it would be very difficult, to have a productive school life. So
it is.
One of the things that I wanted to talk about that's different this year is the fact that in January, I believe it was, there was a forum, if you will, at Stetson University. Really, the purpose of that was just to discuss the homeless problem in Volusia County. Really, I guess if there was a bottom line, it was awareness. And the thing that struck me about the very well attended, by the way, was that I think everyone seemed to recognize that no one agency or no one jurisdiction owns homelessness. It's a problem that is not only a national problem, but in our area, it's a county-wide problem. And it's going to take a county-wide solution to deal with it.
Yes, there are homeless people in every city in this county, and most of them you don't see.
Right.
And we were very fortunate. We have great leadership in this county. Stetson University and the County Council came together and organized a forum mainly targeted at local governments to build awareness and then to open that dialogue. And we've had wonderful response following the forum. We're working with many of the local governments and many of the cities, talking about what city staff and elected officials see in their cities and what responses they might want to implement. And so I think that, I know that in the next 2 years, you're going to see more resource centers available, more housing available for domestic violence, for youth, shelters for people in a crisis to come and get immediate help and then get on to where they can be stable, which is ultimately the goal.
Is there, it would seem to me that a key to this is to get people back on their feet, and to do that they need work. So how do you try to work that part of this so that a person can get employed? How does that work?
Well, usually people that we're working with, they need extra advocacy to get their foot in the door.
Right.
A lot of individuals that we work with have criminal records.
Sure.
Of course, again, I go back to subpopulations. We have a lot of families who probably just need temporary help and maybe referral to the right place to go, and maybe some assistance with brushing up on their skills. And we have a wonderful workforce development organization in this county. We partner with them. And then for folks that need more help, our agencies have advocates who work with them. And now we're taking the additional step of partnering with UCP and some of and Goodwill Industries and some of the other agencies that have that specialized staff who really, whose job it is to get people jobs. We're doing more with what we have by bringing everyone together, and now we're learning the skills that they use in our own houses to help the people that are coming through the housing.
If people want to maybe donate some time, donate some money, or donate some ideas, how do people get more information, and how do they get involved if they'd like to?
We have a website, and that's www, and it's the initials of the organization. So it's VFCCH.org, like Volusia-Flagler County Coalition for the Homeless, VFCCH.org, and then on that site you could find our phone number if you wanted to call.
Well, Lisa, I want to thank you for giving us an update on what is a very important subject in our community. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Our guest today is Lisa Hamilton. She's the Executive Director of the Volusia-Flagler Coalition for the Homeless. And with that, Amber, we'll go back to you.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about our program, just give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org. You can also watch the show online. Just go to volusia.org and click on the Volusia Magazine icon. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today, Volusia County Government's public information radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. And last, we'd like to invite you to the next Volusia County Council meeting, which is scheduled for Thursday, May 17th at 9 a.m. in the County Council Chambers in DeLand. Public participation is welcome. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a great evening.